So welcome to our December 15th Planning Board meeting of the town of Sebago. I'd like to call this meeting to order. The time is 6:06. Tonight's agenda is available by the sign-in sheet over on the corner over there. If you haven't signed in, please do so. And we'll take a roll call of those board members here in attendance. Paul White.
Present.
Tina Vaness. Here. Dave McCarthy. Here. Dave Welch here. And Bob LaLiberty, myself. We'll also acknowledge the town staff present. Christina Robinson, she is here, just stepped out for a moment. Let's see, Brent Wimken, who's our town planner, and Garrett Jones, our executive secretary. Let's do the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. So this is a public proceeding, not a public hearing. And unless the planning board specifically votes to go into executive session, anyone here has the right to hear everything that is being said and to look at all the exhibits or the materials that are presented. Please notify the chairperson if you are unable to see or hear. The board works from a published agenda, which is available tonight by the sign-up sheet. I'm assuming there's some up there as well. Okay?
Point of order, Bob.
Yes,
We do have a public hearing first.
we do. That's correct. Thank you very much. All right. So let's move into that, I think, at this point. So let's open up the public hearing. I'm going to get my agenda out here. This regards map 10, lot 029-C. It's 47 Hog Fat Hill. It's an application submitted by David Kimball for a construction business related storage use for a proposed garage.
You want me to stand or?
That would be great.
Yeah, I wasn't.
Is there anyone here for that hearing?
That's it.
Yeah, is anybody here for this hearing? No?
I support it. Why not?
Why don't you
Well,
go
the
ahead
applicant
and
is
say a
here.
bit about it? Yeah.
Well, it's already underway, the place is already built, so.
Okay.
I don't know, I mean, I'm here for the garage storage part of it, I guess.
Yes.
Okay,
That's
right.
Other than that, there's really not a whole lot. It's
Okay.
You guys, this is what you wanted done, and that's what we're doing, and
okay.
I mean, that's basically what it is. You guys haven't driven by it, it's already built, so I don't know.
Yeah,
Were there any conditions of approval?
No, the only condition was that he has
Yes,
a home business
Yeah.
that's right.
permit.
That's what
And
we're
that's
talking
the
about.
genesis of this public hearing.
Correct,
So,
correct.
No one here for the hearing?
Anyone here for the hearing? Okay, all right. So let's close the public hearing.
I make a motion, we close this public hearing.
Second it.
All in agreement? Okay, thank you.
Are you going to do the correspondence part? Or you still-
No?
Just
Here, you can sit down if you want.
On that?
Well, we have to
They gotta wait,
go back. I
let's
have a
get-
couple more things to do
Oh,
here.
we gotta get our own business,
Yeah.
yeah, okay.
You have to vote on it still, so.
All right.
Yeah.
You may sit down now.
Yep,
All right, all right.
Giving you some exercise.
hang in there for a
That's all
moment.
right.
Yeah.
I could use it.
Okay, do we have any additional correspondence regarding any of our agenda?
No, we gotta finish this one up here. I guess I'd make a motion that since there's nobody in the public that doesn't feel that he should have storage in this building, that I would make the motion that we approve the storage.
Well, you got, yeah, when we got through the minutes, we just go through minutes.
Was that other stuff ahead of that? That's on here, Dave.
Oh, okay.
That's on here. but it's
Oh,
further
I'm
down.
sorry. Okay, yeah, sorry.
Further detail,
Yeah.
And I did not get a copy of minutes, so I don't know what I can do there.
Do you have a copy of your packet?
I asked the lady for the package, but she was, didn't have anything, so. Don't worry, we didn't do much last meeting, we just take it. Sorry.
That's all right. So is there any additional correspondence?
There is some, we were just given a packet to review for a meeting for the planning board to review for tomorrow night.
Yes.
I'd like to make a suggestion that at the end of this meeting, after other business, that we, before adjournment, we have a 15-minute workshop to discuss that.
Very good. I'll second it.
Okay.
All in agreement? Very good. And a quick question about that. Have we found that? Is that still?
I just sent it again. I sent it on November 24th
Okay.
to Christina, the town manager. So
Wow.
that might be where she's at now. She might be printing copies for you all.
Okay,
But
very good, thank you.
You don't get bound ones?
I asked if they wanted bound ones.
Okay.
All right. So we have some minutes from the last meeting. Could I have a motion to accept those minutes from the November 19th meeting?
I'll make a motion that we accept the minutes from November 19th.
Could I have a second?
Sure.
I wasn't here, so.
Okay, good, very good. Those, those in favor?
I'm just gonna abstain because I just had a quick glance, so you're good.
Okay,
And
all right,
accept them.
all right, so motion passes,
And David abstains.
and David abstains, yes. So we're open to public questions now. For a little bit, these questions must not be related to an application, but if anybody has any general questions, we're open for that right now. Okay, barring none of those, we're gonna move on to what we call our old business. And in this case, we are talking about, let's see, map 10, lot 29-C, 47 Hog Fat Hill Road. Application submitted by David Kimball for a construction business related to storage use for a proposed garage. Okay. Have the fees all been paid? Everything's taken care of that way? What's the status of this project right now and the next step?
You guys approved the actual building of the structure, and all that needs to be approved now that the public hearing has been done is the occupational use of the structure.
Okay, okay. Any discussion, anyone about that?
I think we were concerned about storage outside. That the stuff, David, the storage was inside?
Yeah, everything's in, yeah, it's all indoors, other than
It's all indoors?
trailers, things like that.
Yeah.
You want a condition, no outside storage.
Right. That was the condition of approval for it, yes.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I'll make a motion that we accept or we approve this business for inside storage of materials related to Mr. Kimball's business.
Okay,
I'll second it.
seconded, okay. All in favor? Okay,
Thank you.
what's that?
Good to go.
All right, have a good holiday.
Thank you very much, you too. Okay, and we have one more piece of old business. This would be map 19, lot 076, 20 Harvard Street. This was, we just put this on the agenda a little while ago. 20 Harvard Street, application submitted by Lena Minvero for conversion of a storage use structure to a single-family dwelling on a non-conforming lot. And this is kind of a strange request because there's really no fees involved at this point. It's been really just, as far as I know anyway. Have there been any fees involved?
You made a pre-application meeting, yeah.
Okay, all right, very good. And what's the status of this project right now, the next step?
She's brought in the information that was requested at the last meeting, and she's looking to see if she's ready to go on for an application meeting.
Okay. Have you purchased the property at this point?
No, it's still under purchase and sale. The contract actually expires on the 19th of this month, so it's pending approval of the conversion of use of the property for me to purchase this. Yeah.
So, Christina, does she meet all the setbacks with what her proposal is, or the existing building?
Well, the building's not moving.
Three
I
rooms in that stairs.
don't think it does. Do you know the setbacks?
Yeah, it is listed 5 feet.
That's 5 feet.
Yeah.
Have you dealt with the permitting issues yet?
I have not.
And this building was never permitted? Is that?
So the building itself, like the actual building was permitted as a garage,
Okay.
storage use only. At some point, it was converted into a dwelling unit. A septic was installed, and living quarters were constructed upstairs. The living quarters were unpermitted.
Okay. Do we know when this happened? Okay. And what are you asking of us?
So I'm asking to convert it to a residential use so that I can go in, renovate, and then of course put in an appropriate septic system, because right now it's lacking a leach field. And then also ensure that it has a well on site versus utilizing a well that it appears to be across the street. There are no other wells within 100 feet. I know that on the latest sketch plan that I provided, there is a well on lot 273, which is next door. It's a dug well at 112 feet, but there's nothing else even next door on 271. That one's also more than 100 feet. And there's no wells behind the property either. That is undeveloped.
So at this point, are you looking for the board to give you some sort of direction prior to you purchasing the property?
I'm not sure what you folks can give me for approval so that I feel comfortable purchasing this property so that I am not, experiencing any significant costs as to getting this converted.
I think what she's asking is that we give her permission to turn it into a single family dwelling.
Yes.
Over a
Is that-
garage.
Yes.
Over the garage.
Yes.
And is
Like
there
a
enough
legally
room-
permitted one.
Yes.
Is there enough room for a leach field?
Yes.
It's in the back part of that lot, correct?
Yes, so that was actually provided in the pre-app meeting, and then it's also still on the sketch plan as well. Yes,
Okay, so that would be,
yes.
and the well, you said it's across the street, is that on somebody else's well?
Yes, so it was connected to a well across the street. My understanding, there were several other houses that were connected to this well, but there is enough in the front right corner. I did designate that there's a proposed well to be designated right in the front corner, and it's 79 feet roughly from where the septic would be.
The reason I ask is because I share a well, I'm a joint tenant on a well.
Okay.
I just wanted to make sure that you were covered with the well you're using, that somebody can't cut your water supply.
Yeah, I'm not we wouldn't be using that well.
Using it, yep.
No, we would put in a new
You're
well.
smart.
Yes.
And you're good with the 79-foot distance between the well and the leach field?
Yeah, I can reduce it down to 60.
Okay.
Does that require a special permit from DEP or?
No, just me.
Is that currently being used as a residential place?
I'm not sure.
I don't know when it was last used as residential. the current owner says that he knows that it was used by someone, and you can see where they had heating, and there is a bathroom in there. But I don't know when it was last used.
It looks like it's been empty for a long time,
Yeah,
because I drove by, just check it out, see what it looked like.
yeah.
And there are no other septics that affect the well?
No. No.
So this is a conversion, right?
If this were a garage, would we allow this to happen? Right now, as it
What do you
sits?
mean?
If this were just a garage and the top hadn't been converted,
Yeah.
would we allow this to happen?
Allow what to happen? I don't
Be
understand.
reclassified, you mean, as a
Be
residence?
be reclassified as a residence, or converted to a residence
On a
with these
non-conforming lot.
setbacks on a non-conforming lot. Thinking aloud, that's all.
Yeah.
This is a non-conforming lot of deed.
Yes,
They're not making it any more non-conforming.
It can be changed, you can change its classification, you can change it.
residential is an
Ordinance.
allowed use.
What, Christina?
The residential dwelling is an allowed use.
Yes,
We don't know when this was constructed?
it was a while, have you seen it, David?
No.
It was a while ago, I'd say a good 50 years ago anyway. Wouldn't you?
It was, there's no indication in the file as to when it happened.
No, but if you just look at the building and
Yeah.
the condition that it's in,
Yeah.
I'd
And it
say
has-
50 years ago.
Sorry. And it has a frost wall.
Yes.
Has the depth of the frost wall been verified?
I can go measure it right now.
Well, I mean, you're looking for things that we would require if this is to move forward, right? That would be one of the things I would think would need to be required.
Is that what you're looking for?
Well, so if it doesn't have a frost wall, which is it on a slab?
It's slab with frost walls, yes. Yeah, this was asked at the last meeting too.
Slab with frost
Yep,
walls?
yes.
It has to have a frost wall to have the plumbing in it.
It has plumbing.
But I mean, it has to have a legal frost wall in it to have the plumbing,
Oh, I see what
right?
you're saying.
Isn't that right, Christina?
So, I don't know.
I mean, before you come back before us, that would be one of the things that you should verify it before you purchase it, possibly, if the owner would be to verify that it does have a legal frost wall that is down the required distance, which is what, 4 feet, Christina?
Yeah.
Because that's where the septic comes out. The septic comes out here, right? Okay.
Good one back there.
Other than that, I guess,
Well, that would be, would that not be a code enforcement issue and not our issue?
Yes.
she's looking for reasons, though, why the board would approve this. You know, she's looking for that sort of a direction. And would we approve it? And obviously, if it doesn't have a full frost wall in it, then we couldn't approve it.
But that decision is, that frost wall is Christina's discretion, correct? You have the
We
say.
could approve it contingent on that.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. We can approve it on that condition.
As we.
And that's her
as
decision.
You said it's been there a long time.
It's, I'd say, Dave,
Okay.
50 years.
Yeah.
You know, it's a lot of record, it's a non-conforming lot. Most structures are, she's not making it more non-conforming, so I don't see a reason to,
Yeah. I think I'm
To go.
unless somebody else has any ideas.
gonna do a new well.
It's an
New
existing
septic.
building
Christina is
conversion.
comfortable that it meets the setbacks and ordinances and would be approvable if it was de novo. In other words, if someone came and wanted to convert it, I don't see that
Right, right, that's basically what it is, conversion, right? That's the one there.
Lot 273, where is that house? Lot 273, your neighbor to, if you're facing Harvard Street, it would be to your right?
Yeah, so that'd be closer to Intervale.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that's Jim Stern.
And on the other side, how far is that house?
That
That's the owner's-
house,
That's the
hang
owner, that's the
on.
property owner's house.
Okay. Hang up here. Yeah.
So that's the mobile home, and that is
And there's a house up there.
20, hang on, okay. 26 plus feet from the lot line.
So none of the contiguous lot requirements apply to this, right?
Him and his
These are-
wife,
These are two separately deeded lots, so
Yes.
Yeah.
it doesn't apply.
right, him and his wife own one and he owns the other.
Now, the building
Oh,
is still usable as a garage. And you could drive in and out of it. Are you gonna finish out the bottom floor as part of the dwelling unit?
Possibly,
Or-
yes.
We could have a dance floor.
And that would be all right by our code, Christina?
That'd be a
What's
special
That would be
event, right?
acceptable by our code if they were to do that?
Yes, one special event permit. That's what I need.
So the downstairs is got wallboard and like, is it finished downstairs?
I haven't
now?
been inside.
There's nothing downstairs, it's open.
Okay,
I peek in the window.
okay.
She's,
So indeed, there was a living space upstairs, it would have to come up to code in terms of
Yeah.
walls and those kinds of things.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
What about an ADU here? What about an ADU?
it's not, it's a separate lot from the owner's, the owner,
No,
owns two
I
lots.
understand that, but is she eligible for an ADU?
Gee, I would,
Because you're talking,
an interior ADU, she's not an ADU that would be a.
Yeah, use on your property. Let's, can I make a motion to do it? Make a motion to,
Well, we don't have to make any motion, she's just looking for some information, we're not,
oh,
we're not.
she's got a closing on the 19th.
Yeah, but we can't approve anything here, she doesn't own the property. All we can
Oh,
do is just say
Sorry
that
about that.
we don't have a problem with the footprint of this existing unit on this property,
Okay.
basically.
I think what we're saying is it's okay, we'll approve what you want to do, but we can't approve it because you don't own it.
Is it, is the purchase and sale agreement enough? I don't know, I guess not, I don't know off the top.
Well, it's not a formal, like, application for the board.
Yeah, it's
All
not
right,
full.
You don't
so we're waiting
technically,
for that then.
she doesn't technically have standing.
But we
Well, she
can
does, she's a purchase and
unofficially,
sale.
The owners signed off on me putting this forth though, so I'm just curious where I don't have standing to have this approved.
Well, I guess you
Because I
go
do
back
have
a
a
little.
purchase and sale.
we don't,
Has she
you don't own
submitted
it, and we don't have a certified document saying that you're his
Right,
representative.
has
No, you
she
do,
submitted a formal application?
That was given in the last meeting.
That was given in the last meeting, he came and he signed it in front of the notary.
So do we not have an application?
should,
She
yeah, we
submitted an
should.
application.
It was
So I don't believe, Christina, this isn't like a formal application necessarily, it's just a,
This was a
for
query.
information gathering.
Yeah.
So at the last meeting, yeah, it was a pre-application, just to understand if it
Right.
was doable. It looks like Lena might be looking for an actual approval before she commits to buying.
that's what I said a minute, 10 minutes ago.
I thought we were told that we couldn't approve it until she's the formal owner.
She has a letter of,
purchase and sale. And I also
from the
believe-
owner that she's going to purchase it if we say that it is an acceptable use or we're going to okay what she wants to do. Why is that not valid enough for our purposes. She can't buy it until the 19th, but she has a letter that he's willing to sign off to sell it to her, signed in front of a notary. So why do you don't have any reason to hold her up?
So, but in that case, wouldn't you be representing the owner of the property?
No, he signed off to, where's the letter?
No,
It's
it's
in the
more about
application that was
the,
submitted
She
last
doesn't own
month.
the property.
it's more about
The property,
this having
so-
sufficient right, title, and interest. And in this case, you know, name isn't on the deed, but having the interest.
She has
was the-
standing to represent the owner at a hearing, but she doesn't have standing as the owner of the property. So it's like, so what do we, you know?
Can we not help her?
Well,
User-friendly?
are you just looking for us to say, we don't have a problem with this, and if you buy the property, then it appears like you're good to go? Isn't that what you're looking for?
Yeah, I just don't want to have, like we talked about last month, any surprises come up.
Well, neither do we.
I know,
That's for
You
sure.
know,
I know.
and if
yeah,
giving an opinion, a legal opinion, you know, something that's gonna hold the town accountable,
I get it.
is not what we're here to do.
I understand.
We have a lot of people come before us with these pre-application meetings, and none of them do we say, oh, go ahead, we'll give you the permit right now. Now you have to do your application, and as I said, I think it's you're not making it any more non-conforming, it seems like it should be okay to me.
So
Now,
she's wondering right now, do you guys have everything that you need for her to come back in a month after the sale and grant an approval?
They mentioned that they wanted to know if there was
You
a
can't come up by
process.
reading these ordinances and find one more thing that she needs to do.
We don't need to do
That we're saying, to me, like you're saying, David, it looks like it's good to go.
Yeah.
With verification of the
Frost wall,
crosswalk.
which is, that's on Christina.
that. Yeah, I would say the same
Well,
thing.
but you can also recommend whether it's necessary or not.
Yep.
You can recommend whether she feels it's necessary or not.
Okay,
Okay.
is that,
And that's
that
fair
about as far as I feel.
I think David's right in
I
that we
appreciate it.
can't make any formal representations. All we can say is that from the information presented so far, we don't see anything that would cause us to reject the project.
Right.
That's all we're saying so far.
that's good, that's
What
all,
she needs.
basically what you're asking for, isn't it?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Go for it.
Thank you.
Welcome.
So the next meeting will be an actual pre-application meeting.
It'll be
An application,
the application.
An application meeting?
This is pre-application.
Okay,
We'll be moving to application next time.
okay.
Very good.
Your pre-application can be, we can do both.
We can do both.
Right.
If you want to be technical, we can put them both on the
Yeah,
agenda.
but if she has all the information, then we can move into the application. Okay. Yep.
Okay.
But you also need to address the issues of whether you want a public hearing or a sidewalk. So before you could go to a final decision, you might have to at least decide that you did. But that can be waited, that can wait.
Right, right. So it's just an application meeting, it's not an approval.
All right.
Okay. I think we're set. All right.
I make a motion, we move on.
Yep. I think so. So, thank you, Lena. I think we're all set for
Thank
now.
you.
Okay. So now we have some new business. And this regards map 021, lot 045, 61 Shore Road, a pre-application submitted by Kevin Schmid for a garage with an apartment on a non-conforming lot.
Does anybody have a conforming lot in this town?
Yeah, not recently, anyway.
No,
That's very true. Not too many. So first does,
Garrett,
Is this
will you put the,
I want to have Christina address this letter that we
I
didn't.
think she's supposed to do that.
yeah. So does anyone on the board have a conflict of interest regarding this possible application?
Nope.
I do know.
Okay, another, all right. So is this this is a pre-application meeting? We need to determine whether the application is major or minor site plan review and request an escrow and an application fee to be paid by the applicant. Where do we stand in terms of major or minor?
Well,
fine?
yeah, it's minor, but
The minor
I'm supposed
project.
to.
Okay? Minor?
I'll make a motion, we make this a minor application.
Okay.
I'll second that.
All right. All in favor? Very good. All right. Let's see, and fees have been paid thus far? All right. In each instance, it is the burden of the applicant to demonstrate compliance with provisions of all applicable municipal ordinances and state law. Would the presenter please stand and give us your full name?
Kevin Schmidt and my wife Janet Schmidt.
Very good. And please remain standing while the board or town staff is invited to ask any questions or provide comments or concerns or requests to you regarding this project being reviewed. So we may go ahead and make a presentation.
All right. So lot 44 and can I give a handout to everyone as well?
Yeah.
Yes.
Might be beneficial.
Thousand words.
Just there's an aerial view that gives you the context of the area and the neighborhood.
Appreciate pictures.
I picked this is a good. No, it
Oh,
helps.
it's easier, just, than
It
all
helps.
a bunch of
It
No,
words.
we love color prints. That's great.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. I can pass that along.
I'd like the slightly larger context.
There we are. Great, thank you.
So right here, just to, this is 44, this is 45.
Now, where's the pond, up here?
You mean the lake?
Yeah.
The lake is right here.
Thank you.
So we purchased the property, the
This
house,
is coming down the hill. Here's Sebago right here. And it's right there.
All right, I know where I am now.
so we purchased the house that's on 44, lot 44, 2.5 years ago, did refurbishment work there, improved the septic system, removed cesspools, we built quite a bit of the house, all permitted. They're both on one deed. The people in the back, Gretchen and Warren Whitmer, the house that was on 45 burned down in the early 90s. They purchased the lot and put the leaching fields, which you can see on the left-hand side of lot 45, because they had 2 cesspools and didn't have room for a leaching field. So when the house burned down, they bought the property, approved septic system, and you have the application approved, the permit and the application approved, and put that in 1998. And it stayed that way since. Transferred into an estate. We bought it 2.5 years ago, did a lot of work on the house, and now what we'd like to be able to do is apply for an ancillary dwelling unit on 45, which you can see in the picture is essentially a vacant lot in a highly densely populated area. We also, 1.5 years ago, I got approval through the town and the state for a 3-bedroom septic field on lot 45 as well. There's existing water from a community well there. We can easily meet all the setback requirements. And so that's what we'd like to do, and wanted to present the plan to the planning board.
Yes, I'm looking at what Christina wrote, and basically, at some time in the past, these were 2 separate lots. they've purchased.
Mr. Schmidt, I didn't get this piece, I just wrote it up today, but I did give them a little bit of history on what we've gone through in the last couple months. So yeah, they were 2 lots on 1 deed. In 2024, he split the two lots into separate deeds. It was determined that it was an error, and he tried to correct it by putting it back onto 1 deed. As far as that goes, going forward, and it's non-conforming lot of record status, I'm not sure. You'd have to get a legal interpretation on that. So I just wanted you to know that.
But going back further in time, in the early 90s, yes, those were 2 separate lots. There was a separate owner that owned the house on the vacant lot at
And
45. I'm sorry?
He's the one in the back, the one that's listed as 61,
Yes.
and he owns that lot, and a separate person owns
No,
lot
In
2145.
the early 90s.
At some point in time, the building burns and he purchases that lot.
Yes.
And so he owns those 2 lots together. And you purchased those 2 lots together from him.
Yes, on 1 deed.
And then, as she said, at some point in time, you may have made a mistake in trying to separate them out. I can't make a legal opinion, but that's what the MMA communication is about.
Right.
What happens in that situation. Okay, thank you. I'm just trying to get the situation we're talking about, because I guess it comes down to what you highlighted here. In a merger clause in 10, required 2 continuous lots to merge, the land illegally conveyed one of the original non-conforming lots and then offered to recombine them to restore the grandfathered status. And it says the Maine Supreme Court held the 2 lots lost their individual grandfathered status when originally merged and lost their collective status if separated. So that would seem to be the issue confronting you. I mean, does that actually work, and therefore you lose all ability to develop that lot? I'm not saying that absolutely, but I'm saying that is a problem that's presented by this email. So,
That's why he's asking for an ADU, right?
Yeah. So
Rather than a separate house. It's an ADU. So
what's the status of the lot? So are they now 2 separate lots, and one of them has a house and the other one's non-conforming? In which case he might not be able to do that. Like I said, I'm just thinking out loud.
So, Christina, what's your opinion of the law?
I think that by putting them back together, he did the right thing. I would have liked to see them combined, but I don't know if that would even, like if he corrected it by putting them back on the same deed, I don't know if by changing the lot lines again would create a new lot and it would still lose its non-conforming lot record status. I don't know if that makes sense. But I think that it needs a legal interpretation and not from me.
Yeah, that might be a circumstance in which consulting our own attorney as to this, what we think the status is, might make sense.
Okay.
Even combined, they are still a non-conforming lot.
Yes.
Right, but it's less non-conforming.
So that's good.
Right, but I guess going forward, maybe if it's okay, if it turns out to be okay and you know, they still retain the non-conforming lot of record status, then maybe just have it written to the deed somewhere that they can never be separated. Or if it's possible to combine, but this is a question for the attorney. It really is.
Is that at the town attorney or MMA's
I'd
attorney?
recommend the town attorney because MMA even said that they would recommend the town attorney.
Now, when you separated the lots, did you separate them into your own name, the same?
Yeah, ownership never changed.
Okay. Now, they use the term and/or illegally conveyed. I'm not sure if there was anything illegal or any attempt to get around the non-conformity laws, but again, that puts us in a situation of deciding what those laws are, and I'm not sure that's a planning board thing.
No, that's right, she's saying
Yeah.
to go to the town lawyer.
Yeah.
So I make a
Somebody make a
motion that we contact Bob and Christina contact the town attorney together to get clarification, whichever way is legal for these lots to be, and come back with an explanation for us.
What I'd like to tell this gentleman is if he consults an attorney and does some sort of a reconveyance to get it back into one, if it's possible, that might be something can be done, but that's not something that's, he needs, you know, an attorney needs to opine on. And you might discuss with your own attorney what you might possibly do to rectify this circumstance.
I think that he has, but it needs to come from our attorney if we're gonna make a decision on it.
So what I'd like to be able to do is say, okay, but we need to run it by our attorney to make sure okay is a good answer.
That's right. We have a motion on the
Real quick,
table.
as a realtor, can I just speak to this property as a realtor real quick? I know that this property was originally under one deed. However, when it was put into two deeds, both properties were added to the MLS for sale as separate properties. So I don't know if it was done accidentally when both properties were up on the MLS as two separate
That's what I
lots
want.
for sale. So that's a question that, I mean, we have other things that we would like to mention, but that's just one thing I want to mention as a realtor, is that they were up on the MLS as two separate. So I don't know if it was actually done accidentally.
And then it was recombined. It's currently on the MLS as two lots, one for.
Well, it is now, but last summer it was put on as two separate
But
ones.
that's where it is now.
So the lots were under the same ownership?
Always. Yeah, for the last 2.5 years when we bought them.
And so we need to know, does your lawyer tell you that these lots are now one lot combined?
They're under one deed. They're still two individual lots listed under one deed. When
So
we
how
heard
would
also,
we
it's
put an ADU on a lot with no dwelling?
Well, if they're on the same deed, I mean, a lot of those ones down in Long Beach are two lots on one deed. I mean, they're combined onto one deed.
I thought two contiguous lots under the same ownership, the non-conforming automatically have to be joined together?
Yeah, we
I don't
have
know
a
if
merger.
that's what I'm not sure if it's gonna make it lose its non-conforming lot of record status because you're creating a new lot at that time. You need to check with an attorney.
One lot versus
Right.
two lots.
It creates a new lot this year rather, you know.
And if the two combined lots are still non-conforming, is it allowed to put an ADU on a non-conforming, a separate ADU building on a non-conforming lot?
Why not?
You can put a house on it.
Yeah, you can put a house on it.
But not if it's the same lot, right?
Say that again?
Not if it's the same lot. These two lots are actually contiguous lots and they have to be joined together because they're under the same ownership. So it's one non-conforming lot.
And you can put an ADU on it, yes?
Yes.
Well, it does, but.
Or does that increase its non-conformity?
Yeah, does that increase its non-conformity because this is in the village district?
I don't think that matters.
This is in the village district, you need 40,000
Yeah.
square feet. That's another question for the lawyer, I guess. It's, you know, we're talking about a non-conforming lot here.
In the case referred to, it says the Maine Supreme Court held that the two lots lost their individual grandfathered status when originally merged. And that seems to imply when they were merged, they were no longer individually grandfathered, but as a new lot, they were grandfathered. But this is the point that's concerning, is and lost their collective grandfathered status when illegally separated. So the court seemed to have come up rather strongly by removing the grandfathered status from the law. I'd have to know specifically more details about the case and why they considered it to be illegal.
Okay. So we still have a motion on the table.
A motion?
Can you read the motion back, Eric?
Yeah, you need a motion to
then contact the town attorney and get legal interpretation on it.
Yeah, I second that, I think we need to do
Very
that.
good. Have some
We all
discussion
agree?
on it?
We have some more.
Well, yeah, I think we need to discuss it a little, specifically what we want to ask him. Bring his attention to this.
I'd like to ask if the escrow fee has been paid
Yes, it
yet.
has.
So the town's attorney's fee would come out of the escrow? Okay.
Okay, what, if it goes back together, it may lose its non-conforming
I
status?
can't answer these questions.
But what I'm saying is, if it's making it into the bigger lot, what happens if you lose the status of non-conforming?
I can ask the attorney.
Well, okay, I think that's important.
Yeah.
What are the ramifications of losing the
I need to ask
non-conforming
the attorney.
status?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's one.
I think we need,
They lost the grandfathered status, which seems to be the concern here.
Yeah.
Okay, and the grandfather,
I think we need to know whether or not you can put an ADU on a non-conforming, a separate ADU building on a non-conforming lot.
All right, so, questions please for the attorney?
Yeah, that would be a question for the attorney, would be,
Can you put an ADU on it?
can you put an ADU on a separate ADU built structure on a non-conforming lot that doesn't meet the 40,000 square feet requirement for the village district?
What you should do is provide copies of the deed chain from when it went from 2 lots to 1 lot, and then this gentleman gets it and then he separates it.
It never
Get
went,
copies of that and copies of this document here, and I assume the attorney going from there can review it and give us a general opinion of what he feels the status is. Go ahead, sir.
it never went to 1 lot. It was always 2 lots, just under
one deed.
1 deed. We purchased it on the original deed listed both separate lots.
Okay.
That's how it was purchased. Yes, we did separate it, and then
Now,
conversation with
did the
Christine.
person who owned it prior to you own both of those lots?
Yes,
So what they're saying is by action of law, they would merge. And
Contiguous
even
lot.
if the deed description, well, this is going too far, but there's just the sort of issues the attorney needs to address and give us an opinion on.
You have a non-conforming lot, you purchase the lot next to you, that's a non-conforming lot under the same ownership. They become contiguous lots, they join together.
I think we do have a merger provision in our statute ordinance, right?
His grandfather.
So you can only put an accessory dwelling unit on a lot that has an existing house. So if that's 2 lots,
If they're
Why?
combined to 1 deed, that would make it more less non-conforming.
Making it one lot.
Yeah, but
Well-
again, when you change the,
go ahead.
can I just ask the attorney these questions?
Yeah,
Right,
this
that's right.
is what you need to do. I'll try to not opine.
Stand your ground, Christina, call a lawyer.
2 lots being on 1 deed is not the same as it being 1 lot. Right.
Well, basically, ask him to look at this mess and tell you what.
Yeah.
Yeah, tell us what's
Yeah, I
okay.
have that question.
Okay.
And ask him if we can put an ADU on that, because that's what you're asking for,
yes, sir.
on that lot, regardless of how it comes out.
Yeah.
Right.
But I think,
Thank you.
given this, the fact that the deed he got describes 2 separate lots, and not necessarily understanding the merger provision, this guy's got himself in a situation. Hopefully there's some way, consulting the lawyers, we can work it through it. But that's what needs to happen.
Yeah, we're not trying to prevent you from doing it, we just need to do it.
Yeah,
We got some
I
questions.
understand the
Really
confusion.
legal.
I understand the confusion.
Okay.
So,
Could I have a motion? I've got the motion. I need to vote.
What's the motion?
The motion was to get legal.
Oh, good, that I'll go with.
No specific questions.
Do we?
We got some questions up there before.
Are we able,
Are we gonna have some say in this?
Yes.
Okay.
Can we ask, to add to my motion, can we ask Christina to read back the questions that will be included?
All right, so what I have so far is, can an ADU be placed on a separate non-conforming lot? You wanted me to provide copies of the deed chain and the copies of the MMA interpretation.
Yep. And what does he think the current status of the lot or lots are?
Yeah, okay, current status, I
Yeah.
worded it differently, but yeah. Did the lot lose its non-conforming lot of record status, and can they regain it by adding them both to one deed again?
The grandfathering thing.
Right.
That's what that is, yeah.
Anything else?
My question was,
So-
what is this talk about losing non-conforming status?
What's up?
What are the ramifications of losing non-conforming status?
On grandfather
Grandfather
status, yeah. As much as, what is the implications of losing grandfather status, if that was to occur according to what they said here?
Bob, I want to withdraw my motion
Okay.
and make another motion.
Go
I
ahead.
make a motion that we seek legal counsel and specifically to ask the attorney the questions that Christina just read into the
Any
record.
that he.
Second it.
All in favor?
Done. Sorry.
No, that's all we expect.
That's why we're here.
They want to have some say up there, Bill.
Okay. Comments?
I wanted to ask about, there's a couple things regarding water lines. Ron, who is the folks who live in the pump house, the well pump house, they had made mention that there's already a lot of folks in the neighborhood that are on one well. He doesn't see it being able to add another home. I'm not sure exactly how that works, but I want to bring it to your attention. Also, the water lines that run to 4 or 5 other homes go underneath that property. So I don't know how that works if a garage is on top or any dwelling with water lines going to, I think it's 4 homes, maybe 5.
We're trying to determine whether or not this project can even move
Well,
forward at this
I just want to
point.
bring it up as a precursor, because, that's one thing to consider. I don't know how it works. I mean, you can dig up a road, but you can't tear down a house to get
That would
water.
all be discussion,
Or down the road.
Right.
Are
Okay,
you in a
no,
butter there, or?
so, ironically enough, none of the abutters are there anymore because they left. So I have letters from, he is,
Okay.
and I have letters for a couple of
Is there
others.
an agreement for the water system?
I have my own well. I'm in the back corner.
It's a community well which
Is
we
it
all
not-
got together in 1972. And that's part of the old West Shore Hotel, and that is the pump house for the old West Shore Hotel.
Is-
I get it,
is
but
it-
there is no, it's not deeded to anybody. Okay,
No, it's
then
not
that's
cheap,
fine.
no. It's basically, it's become a public water company, I guess, because it has to be, because it covers the water. Again, in 1972, the guy that had bought the pump house, Mr. Messenger, realized that that could go to all the different houses. Now, I was like 15 at the time, but I was there the day they did it. And it was just, oh wow, we can do this. And so those of us that invested in it, we spent a lot of money to get it set up, and they're getting their money's worth in Gretchen's house, but I don't think we have room to add another one on.
Do you, but none of you have a documentation saying that we have this agreement or whatever?
No, I don't think there's any.
Okay, that's
Well, it's on our
okay.
deeds.
Is it? Yeah.
See, I don't have that deed, so it should be on the deed.
It's on our deeds, the water, the whole water system is
Do you
on
know,
our
is it a drilled well or a dug well?
It's a drill well, yeah.
Is that on your deed?
So, yes, and on both lots, there's water from that central well. So I've got water lines in that vacant lot right
Yeah,
now.
we don't have the capacity to well, I have to ask Ron, but he doesn't think he has the capacity to do it.
What's the recovery on the well?
Pardon?
What is the recovery of the well?
That's a wrong question.
That's a wrong question.
Well, how many?
I think after a couple of drinks, it takes them a few nights to get.
How many houses?
How many buildings are served by this?
Yeah, 17.
17, all right. 17.
The reason I asked the recovery of the well, I'm a joint tenant with SK&K.
Yeah.
Now, they've got the 10 cabins over there, plus the restaurant, and they do the laundry for all of the cabin facilities. So our well is a 75 gallon a minute recovery, which is unheard of.
That's pretty good.
But it's the best one on Long Beach, let me tell you. An old plumber told me that when I first.
Yeah, I mean, Ron would have to answer those questions.
But I think that would, go ahead.
But it's in my deed. And in that lot 45 in the deed is also an easement for all the water lines that she was referring to for all the houses over on the left.
Yep.
So the water access is an easement for maintenance. Just before we bought it, a water line broke, that was on the property, it was all dug up and repaired, right, as part of the easement access. So, and the house in 95 is served by that well as well, when it was all done.
Phil?
I was gonna recommend if there isn't an easement for service, that one be created before this project is approved. And it should be in the names of all the participants, so any or all participants can participate or service the water line, the wire, and the well itself, so that that clears up the whole mess for everybody.
It's in the deeds, it's in every.
We don't see it in your deed. Maybe somebody could bring that forward and give it to Christina or Garrett to forward it to us and a list of the participants.
It'll take two things. It'll take the language of the easement, which all the parties have to contribute to give the information to the attorney. And then it would take a survey to establish the easement, where it is and so forth. Then it's cleared up for everybody.
I'll send you from the parking lot, I'll send you the deed, you'll see the easement in there.
That takes care of all.
It's identified in the survey.
Yeah, I know, okay.
It's a 10-foot easement for water line access.
Are we all, any more questions about the water?
There was a man with a cap and the white beard.
I'd like to make a motion that we table this application
David,
until.
excuse me, we got somebody who wants to
Make a
talk.
statement.
Oh, okay.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
Keep that thought a little bit. I live at 63 Shore Road. I am a direct abutter to this property. I don't know if I'm included in that photo you have.
Towards 114 or towards the lake?
Towards the lake.
Okay.
Towards the lake.
Yep.
My house and the house that they purchased are literally side by side.
Okay.
We bought the property in 2021, and at the time that we bought it, we were told that Gretchen's property included the front lot, that there had been a house there that had burnt down, and that Gretchen had bought that lot. We didn't know anything about any separation of the two properties. We just assumed that it was all one lot once she bought it. So we didn't, when the Schmidts bought the property, we thought they were the ones that had divided the property. You don't know if there was previously, if the property lines were, what they used were the previous property lines, or if it was never one lot, just one deed. So we were, we were a little confused about what the situation was there. Because we also have a shared deeded driveway. And we were just, we're also concerned that there's no additional problems with, any altering of that entrance into our property. So that's pretty much what I have to say, I guess, for tonight. Maybe I have more to say once you guys just make your decisions.
Is the driveway in your deed? Is the common driveway in your deed?
Yes, it is.
It's an easement.
What year did this building
That
you're
makes a
talking about
difference.
burn?
Do you hear
I
that?
have no
It was
idea.
early 90s.
I want to say it was 1990, I think.
Yeah.
I think it was 90.
Do you have, would you be able to give the code enforcement officer a copy of your deed with the easement on it?
I'm sure I can put my hands on it.
And or Garrett, and we can again sift through all of this stuff.
Sure.
Okay, you have another question?
Yes, we have more questions. Go ahead.
I have a question, but first of all, Tina, I want to say about the recovery. I'm a year-round resident, I have been for 42 years, and I can tell you, in the wintertime, my water pressure is great. In the summertime, it just goes, My question was, though, for the Schmidts, what is your intention for this building that you want to build? Because I know that 61 is for sale right now. Are you looking to sell them both as a pair? Are you looking to sell them separately? I'm just concerned with what your intentions are for it.
They're currently under one deed, so if it would sell, it'd be one sale.
So you'd be building it, okay.
That's why we're looking for an ancillary dwelling unit as an addition to that.
Got it.
They were originally trying to sell it as one
Yeah,
property.
and then when we found out separation
And then
was
you
not
split it
correct.
into two,
Put it back.
right?
Yeah.
I added a second question to your paper on an alternate planner. You have to make a motion if you want that planner present.
We should probably do that, actually, for this particular case. On an alternate planner, there's a conflict of interest in terms of that particular property.
Well, you're involved in it. The company, yeah.
He has a conflict of interest.
Okay.
Can't have that.
All right, but let's,
Briefly, I'd make a motion, we find an alternative planner for this
This
project.
application.
Yeah,
I have just one more question or statement.
let's vote.
I live down the road from them going towards the lake, and over the last few years, someone has messed with the drainage, and now all the water comes into my basement, which has cost me so far about 40 grand in stuff I've had to do to fix things. So before you put anything up there, I don't need any more water in the basement. I think I got it taken care of, but it washed away my foundation. And I don't know who did what, but I've been there 50 years, and in the last 4, I lost pretty much my whole foundation. So something's not right there.
Okay. We have a motion? Go ahead.
I forget now.
Yeah. Make a motion.
You get a-
alternate planner?
No,
Yes, I make a motion that we have an alternate planner for the thing, and it was seconded, and we need to vote.
All right, all in favor?
I think we chewed on this long enough and send it to the lawyer and see what they tell us.
Okay, so Christina's taking it to the lawyer to get the answers to the questions. So we're done.
Questions, I'm sure more will come
I'd
up.
like,
No, you're gonna get the
Oh,
questions
yeah,
answered at the
I wrote
lawyer
it down.
before we can go any further.
Well, this is a pre-application meeting, and I
Yeah.
think we're kind of telling people what we'd like to see, including the owner, including these folks who were concerned in the back.
Well,
Right.
we've addressed
Yeah.
it.
What else would you like to see?
At this point, I just want the legal questions answered.
Okay, find out what they tell us.
Okay,
so I'd like to make a motion that we table this application until Christina gets back to us with a legal opinion.
Second,
Okay, all in favor? Okay, thank you.
And,
you're good.
yeah, and what other information you want to get to her? So, and just so you folks know,
the
in the
more
background,
information people can provide about the status of the lots, the help more will help the attorney.
okay, folks in the back row, if you're going to provide this stuff, we need 2 weeks to review this stuff.
I did just email over the,
Perfect,
for
you
63
know,
for the driveway easement.
but stuff like this is okay, but when we've got documentation and legal matters that we have to figure out in our own little heads, it may take a while.
Well, sometimes people drop it, pack it off the night of the, we're trying to, you can't assimilate that fast. Now it's relatively right.
But you're good.
Thank you.
Until the next
sidewalk.
Thank you very much.
We're all done.
Good holiday.
Thank you.
All right,
Okay.
let's make a motion.
Do we have any other business to consider?
We want to discuss, go to the David.
I make a motion, we go in,
Oh, it's right.
table this meeting, go into a workshop right now, and then come back up.
Okay.
Well, workshops also need to be publicized, so we not call it a workshop, we'll just have a discussion.
That's fine.
It's a continuation of our
Anyway.
workshop.
All right.
It's continuation. That's fine. Okay, all in favor?
What do you got there, Brett?
I have a planning packet. So this was originally prepared for, I believe it was December 1st. That was initially when I think a joint meeting was scheduled. Christina, correct me if I'm wrong.
No, you're right.
think there's a joint
Folks?
session scheduled.
Folks? Could we have it quiet in the room, please?
You can do it out in the hallway.
Yeah.
I got business to attend to.
So I forgot the gavel.
I never
But you know what?
Wait a minute.
Yeah, let's give it. Let's give it.
And so I think that's.
This is, how about that marijuana stuff, pretty in-depth stuff? More than we wanted to know, more than we wanted to realize.
I have spent 4 days looking at that stuff.
Yeah.
The more you read,
Yeah.
crazier it gets.
Crazy it
Things are
gets,
moving
huh?
targets. It's like they don't even know what they're doing.
Well, I told you the state's crazy.
It kind of reminds me of LD 1829.
Yeah, really. I get it.
Okay,
Why don't we just
let's just get on with what he's wants to do.
Sure.
Brett, let's go.
So,
get rid of
after our November meeting, we had discussed a plethora of different ordinance items, particularly our marijuana ordinance we had talked about, but we're hoping for a little bit more information from Vern, which we had tonight, obviously. We had discussion around road standards, asphalt, concrete paving plants, things of that nature. Essentially kind of what we've been working on for the past few months. And so what I prepared was a planning packet. It's a nice little booklet. I tabbed it just for myself. Did not bind it. I don't know if there's copies for you folks, but I shared that with the code officer and the town manager for our, that was scheduled discussion on December 1st. That obviously got pushed back to tomorrow night. So it sounds like you folks may not have seen this document.
No, I haven't seen it.
So, okay. I'm curious, Garrett, or if you or Christina, I don't know if maybe that's where she went to.
I would have to get it either from Christina or Michael, because I haven't seen it.
So we're gonna have a roundtable discussion tomorrow evening about information that we have not seen.
This is where I wish
booklet
Christina
anyway.
was in the room, so I
So,
just forwarded it to you. but-
I did send over the select board's packet, but I didn't check, it was a 68-page packet. I didn't check to see if that was in it. I don't think it was. I think it was mostly the comprehensive plan and stuff like that. So I'm not sure if that has been included in the select board's packet.
I think if we get enough information from the gentleman tonight to ask the general question to the, or explain the situation to the select board and ask them the general question, do they want to opt in or out? And see what they have to say.
Got your email.
But I don't think that's a decision that the select board and the planning board should make. I think it's something that needs to go for the town meeting.
Yep.
For the
And no
marijuana.
objection.
Yeah.
Even to a plebiscite, I don't care. But,
So what's in this?
So, yep, so just generally I'll cover high level what's in this. A couple exhibits, but I'll start with the cover letter. Really essentially it's designed to just introduce what we've been working on thus far to the select board and to kind of go over our progress and where we're at. There's a couple decision points I think that we can make tomorrow night in terms of direction, at least, but it's more so to kind of gauge feedback from the select board to kind of help guide our decisions that we're going to make. In terms of exhibits, like content that's
And
in
why do
here.
we need that?
I'm sorry?
Why do we need feedback from the select board?
Or, well, so for, like in particular for our marijuana ordinance.
Yeah, okay.
Like, if we want to have a discussion, obviously about opting in, that's a much larger discussion than like what this planning board would need to have. That would be something that the select board would kind of say, okay, let's pause, let's pump the brakes. Maybe during the process of our comprehensive plan, there's going to be extensive public engagement efforts in there. And so maybe some of those community surveys that are performed during that comprehensive plan, maybe those questions are asked. Is the town interested in opting in, kind of thing?
Yeah.
Because if by chance that we are, the select board maybe thinks that maybe we should opt in, then obviously we should kind of halt all ordinance efforts here.
But that's the thing though.
And here's part of my problem with this whole road thing. Christina sent me an email with a couple of issues, which I get. But we could, you can't do it in a vacuum and change these one or two little things, because it affects the entire ordinance. And if we're doing something and we have to get approval by the selectmen for each little step, that's not how it's supposed to work by statute. By statute, it is the planning board, if they decide that the roads need work, then we come up with an ordinance. And that's great, and that's the way it should be, because as planning board members, we've all dealt with the ordinance in depth. So I don't know what the selectmen really want, and we've already been through this where we spent many hours creating good ordinances, and they've been thrown out by the selectmen. And ordinances that need to be changed in our ordinance book. So,
Did you do anything?
what are we doing? What?
Did you, any of the work that you did, is it on the roads that you could use now?
No.
No, totally no.
Well,
It was mostly clarification, correcting errors that are in our ordinances and things like that. Regardless, it takes time to do that.
And some ordinance.
It's a form.
And I know we need work on our roads, but what work do you really want done? What is the end goal? You know, if she told me, well, we've got to, what was it? On a driveway at the end of a road, you've got 2 houses on it and you have to tar it, or something like that. But if you have 3 houses, you have to tar it. You know, and that's,
So that's one of the things that, like I talk about in the cover letter, like especially is, we don't have a mechanism currently for, let's just talk about roads real quick here.
yeah.
Like, we don't have a mechanism for granting waivers if there's a reduction in right-of-way requested, or like things of that nature. So it's important to make sure we're providing that infrastructure within our actual ordinance. That way, when people come before the board, you guys at least have some basis to grant that waiver.
So why would you want to grant a waiver on a right of way?
So I think we had talked about this before,
Yeah.
but, and this is also kind of part of what I talked about in the cover letter, in terms about like scalability of like development. If there's maybe one last lot available for sale and it's surrounded by land trust land, it might make sense for that lot, if it needs to be developed on, or like a right-of-way extended to it kind of thing, where it's only gonna be one single dwelling, like forever, you know, if the surrounding land, you know, in that instance, it might make sense to be able to grant a waiver.
Wouldn't that
There's-
come up under backlot driveway though? Under the backlot driveway portion of our ordinance?
Correct, but the right-of-way would still be,
she objecting some sort of something in the ordinance that gives us flexibility and the ability to waive certain requirements. Okay.
right. And that's just
what
one
we should
example,
say.
obviously, you know, if there's other, you know, certain circumstances that are happening with, there's a number of different like possibilities that could happen.
Have you listed them out?
Not,
And I'm not being
a few,
smart,
No,
but that would
I
help
understand
us a
what's
lot,
going on.
you know.
But I do, let me see here, I think it's bullet point number 2 under roadway design standards, about,
Look at that, I put it right away.
about scalability based on development thresholds right there. Just talking about smaller roadways. Essentially what you're trying to do is just match the surrounding character of the neighborhood. Making somebody, you know, pave their driveway at the end of that road for that one lot and have that large right of way, you know, it could be cost prohibitive to a lot of people. There's a number of different barriers that could be presented.
So, okay, and how do we address, and I didn't see this in any of the Raymond stuff, and nobody else has really talked about it, the planning board members that I have talked to in other towns. But there's all these state mandates now with the ADUs. So do we assume that there's going to be two housing units on every lot? What is the figure? what is the figure when we're gonna do 3 on every lot? So somebody's got a 3-acre lot, and they could put three individual units on there, and couldn't they also put an ADU in those units too? So-
Theoretically, they could. The one challenge that I find with that is we can't, as a board, we can't always make decisions based on like hypotheticals. What we can though is make our judgments based on the information provided to us.
But isn't that exactly what we're doing, and when you're saying that there'll only be one house at the end of this road, and so therefore, because you don't really know, there's no way of really knowing that, as to whether or not there's going to be 1 residence or 4 residents, on that one lot that you're talking about making accommodations for.
Right, well, we know it won't be 4 because we don't have, the public water access to it kind of thing, based on like the LD law.
That would make it 5.
But,
The public water and public sewer would make it 5, because then you'd have 4 residences and an ADU, which makes 5 residences.
David,
No, I'm getting realistic here, because at some point in time, there's no reason to think like every other town that grows, that you're not gonna, at some point in time, meet maximum build-out. I mean, it's like, maybe it's not 30 or 40 years from now, but I don't think you should be planning the roads around today's condition, and trying to take a crystal ball and look into the future and say, oh, this town's not gonna grow, because it certainly is.
well, what I would offer is, I think the alternative approach to that, like, you can grant your decision based on the information that's provided to you, but I think what's important is how we're scaling those roadway types and when they're gonna be triggered. So in the event that it is 4, and it depends on the language too, whether it's lots versus dwelling units, right? So in the event that it's just 1 dwelling unit, then they would be provided that waiver granted for lesser right of way and gravel, versus 4 dwelling units on there, okay, that we know that triggers that ordinance language that's within that framework, that now they're gonna have to pay it.
But once again, you don't know where the future is gonna take that.
right,
But it
so how the hell can you
would,
plan
but that's what
anything?
would trigger that though, is at least if we worded it that way based on dwelling units, we know, okay, that there's only 1 lot there, and that's why that waiver was granted. And, perhaps it's condition of approval, but I think the ordinance would speak for itself if that language is pretty clear on there, that like, hey, once you exceed 3 dwelling units, then that trips that higher threshold of roadway design.
But, so, somebody puts in a new road, again, there are lots all the way down this road. And one guy at the end of the road wants to put a house in, and essentially it's a driveway, right? But, so are we going to allow every other house, every other lot owner to use that as a single driveway? And where does the cost of that, changing it from a driveway to a roadway, where does that, who bears that cost?
Well, I think this is, again, the importance of how we're classifying these different roadway designs. I think it's in the town of Raymond, let's say anything greater than 6 is gonna trigger like that highest roadway design kind of thing, right? So you're already, based on those 6 different, assumably, like 6 different lots in there, they're already gonna be at that maximum roadway. So that other lot that needs to be developed, they won't have to make those infrastructure improvements there because it's already built to that way. Now let's say maybe it's a smaller amount though. Generally, I mean, most ordinances are framed this way. If larger improvements are made, and you see this in larger cities too with like impact fees or things like that, it's always the responsibility of the applicant to have to, provide that financial backing to improve those efforts, to bring that up to standard.
So the guy who lives halfway down the road, he wants to put his house in, and let's say the road's 500 or 1,000 feet long, and he's down near the end. So you're telling me that that entire burden of improving that road is gonna go on that single fella or woman who probably owned that lot before the person who actually put the other houses in down below?
Maybe, I think it's important that this would only apply to like future development, but also
And
also,
that's what,
right, but also I think too, just like to put my consultant hat on, like designing subdivisions, I think you'd be a pretty bad designer if you didn't account for those kind of things. If you were gonna parcel it off like one lot at a time, and then, oh, okay, we hit that threshold of 5, oh, sorry, you're a sucker, you have to upgrade that road now. I mean, that's kind of generally, like, this is why it's important to be consistent with the right-of-way width, for example, right? Like, if we know that there's gonna be maybe a phased development down the road, that, okay, that right-of-way is gonna be the same distance no matter what. And moving forward, you know, like, if we are gonna have to upgrade that road in the future for phase 2, that's just the way.
so,
But we're really talking about stuff that's not a development, so to speak, in many cases, where it's just
right,
a
I'm not
good-sized
talking
piece of land.
about putting, you know, a 10-unit
Yeah.
circle down here. I'm talking about stuff that happens over 10 years, 20 years.
Yeah.
So you have 3 houses or 2 houses, whatever the backlot driveway is, okay? And now the guy, second to the last, at the end of this road, wants to put it in a house on land he's owned for 50 years. Now, he's got to, because that goes beyond the limits of the backlot driveway, that house would. So now he's gonna pay for this 1,000-foot makeover of this road?
Why couldn't that be on the landowner? The
Well,
landowner is responsible, if he's planning that he's gonna sell these lots off, it's up to him, he carries the burden to make the fix.
Yeah, but why do you want to create that, Brent? We already have a road and street ordinance that requires a 60-foot right-of-way, and it, I mean, why
but we
would
don't
we
have
change
the
it?
framework to grant that waiver. Like, in that exception, like, you know, it's up to them as the applicant to maybe argue for that waiver, right? And it would be their right to submit an application before the board for you
Okay.
folks to consider, right?
So then that happens, and the next guy comes and he argues that it wasn't my fault, and it wasn't my fault. Now you've got 20 houses down there being served by a driveway. So,
That's
no, all right? This
that's the problem we have with the private roads.
development in this town doesn't happen like it happens in Raymond, where you get these big subdivisions and all that. I can count the number of subdivisions in 40 years on 10 fingers and 10 toes, you know, probably. So it's a slow development that happens. It's a creep. So,
Well, it has been.
and believe me, I get what you're saying. But again, you go back and what started out as a backlot driveway for 2 lots that goes by 20 other parcels because they have a right of way. Now you got all these people being serviced by this one driveway where you can't get a piece of fire apparatus down. You can't even plow it because you don't even have a hammerhead at the end of it, you know?
Wouldn't it be nice to ask for those things?
It would prevent us both from asking for those things and granting waivers on other places that make sense, treating each property and each development as an individual project and looking at it as a specific piece of land rather than a set of general principles.
Problem is, you don't know how that land's gonna develop.
And to the guy who wants to build a house, has got a right of way down there, what may happen in the future isn't his responsibility, he's just meeting the ordinance as it exists in front of him. You know, you can what if yourself into a frenzy, I think.
I just think it's important to leave the 60-foot right-of-way intact.
That's what we'll ask
If
the
you want to put in a
selectmen.
15-foot road on a 60-foot right-of-way and then later on, you know, have to expand that road because of the next phase of development, well, that's on you, but at least you've got the 60-foot right-of-way to do it on.
Right.
If you don't have, if you give up that 60-foot right-of-way, you're never gonna get it back.
Well, yeah, and I think that's the importance though, is in those unique circumstances, right? Like if there's a lot surrounded by like the land trust parcel and they were just doing that one.
Yeah.
You know, like at least maybe in that specific instance, it might make sense to reduce that right away. But everywhere else, I mean, that 60 would be standard throughout town.
Are land trusts forever, or can you get out of the land trust?
Generally, yeah, it depends a little bit on the like ownership type. Like I believe technically, if there was, like a property, what you can receive like certain tax benefits if you like designate it as like a permanent open space, that kind of thing. There's a way, I believe, you can like break that,
And that's
like
what I
tax
was-
break kind of
and
thing, but that
that's-
money goes back to the town.
Right.
Kind of thing.
But
But
a
imagine-
conservation group could sell
Right.
this lot saying, you know what, this was a nice lot, we appreciate it, but it really doesn't fit our model. What really does is this lot over here with, you know, more river frontage and all that, it's more important to protect that than just plain woodland. So they could sell that, you know, to David's point, so not everything is permanent, I
Right.
guess,
Right,
what I'm
yeah.
asking.
You know, folks, we gotta be back here again tomorrow night.
I know.
Why don't
It's
we
gonna be
discuss it
longer.
with
We
the
just-
selectmen
but
and
we
see
just-
what they think?
Yeah, right, well, yeah, and this is just a little,
Well,
you know, we're trying to figure out what we want to say to them, right?
well, actually,
Well,
you know,
what we
I
said
think
tonight,
if-
is what's your input?
Yeah.
You,
Yeah.
This-
I don't know if this gentleman's coming, but
Okay.
I'll tell him that he advises us we should build some more flexibility into our ordinance.
Yeah.
and
I
what
think,
they-
I'm hoping at least that tomorrow night's meeting, and I think we'll try and structure it that way right from the get-go, is a discussion, okay? This, just what we're doing right here, and a little update at the same time around roads and about marijuana, a little bit, but not much, mostly an open discussion to get a sense about where they are as well as us.
So
They're gonna tell you that they don't have any direction, Bill Bob. They want information from us.
well, they must have a direction because they asked us to do this.
We don't know that, other than.
So who is the driver of this anyway, of this
Which one?
request for a gravel road ordinance?
That was the CEO, actually.
It was?
Yeah.
Yeah,
So-
it's running, it's problems with it, what we have.
In
Yes, ma'am.
reality, though, you don't have any towns that have addressed these new legislative actions. Maybe the auxiliary dwelling unit in their road ordinance, but you don't have any that have changed changed their road ordinances with this LD 1829, right? Or specifically for that.
Well, I don't know, in some cases, some might feel that theirs is sufficient, right? Like
Yeah.
if they base it off of dwelling units instead of lots, that kind of covers it, because again, if a certain number of ADUs are proposed and it trips that threshold, then, you know,
But
it's a
did they
significant cost to have to bring that road up, but, you know, it's their right. if
But did
want
they
to.
calculate their potential costs on the town? Let's say we accept the road. Did they calculate their potential costs on all of a sudden you got 4 houses on, or 3 houses on each lot, you know, each 30-acre lot? I doubt they did that, and I guess that's what I'm struggling with.
Yeah.
I just,
And in the future, water and sewer is a game changer. Big time.
Yeah.
Look what's taking place in Wyndham right now. You know?
I'm gonna choke him.
No, well, seriously, seriously. You see on Route 35 over by Shaw's there, what's taking place over there? I mean, you know.
Where in hell in Sebago are you gonna be like?
I know, but
we had
it's,
this argument.
this is gonna be like this forever. You know?
No.
I know, we're gonna be gone, I know.
There's
You
no
know,
place, there's no development in this town that's gonna cause that problem.
Not now.
There's never. And I'll come back from the grave and point my finger at
I
you.
hate to tell you, but they said the same thing in Winter.
Yeah. So I guess what I'd recommend, generally, hopefully, I know it's a little tight of a time frame, but hopefully you folks can at least just review like the cover letter component, and the bulk of it's really exhibits, like Raymond's street ordinance is in here. Obviously, there's some sections of our own ordinance that are in here as well that kind of relate to some of the information that I'm discussing within the cover letter. So hopefully before tomorrow evening we can be.
Okay.
Is this road
They
and,
would-
is this road and marijuana in here?
Yeah, there's stuff on both.
Okay.
Okay, I was charged with marijuana, so I'm not gonna touch you down. You guys are gonna do it. I'm not gonna say a word. I'll take over marijuana, and I don't expect to
Well,
hear
it's as
anything from
simple
you.
as-
No,
I don't mind as simple as asking them whether they wanna opt in on the newspaper.
Right,
Yes, or no.
right.
And they have an option of allowing them to grow some but not have retail.
But the work I handed you guys, please look it over.
Yep.
Some of you just put it aside. I spent a lot of time putting that
We're in a
together.
meeting, I couldn't read that.
You what?
We're in a meeting.
No,
couldn't
I
read
know,
that.
but I'm saying, please look it over because it, and I've got to add medical in there. I didn't do anything with medical, I totally spaced on that. So I'll have it some more for tomorrow night.
And this is exactly why we didn't want to go down that road with the road ordinance until we knew exactly what they want. You know, there's no sense of writing up some sort of an ordinance and they just go, oh, no, that's not what we want.
No, I didn't,
Okay.
David, I used you gave me the template to do. It was the template that you guys used on the ORC. And so that's what I think they're looking for. What information have you got in your head? And I started mine out with, to ensure the code enforcement officer had a legitimate legal and binding tool to address thus and such.
What time is their meeting tomorrow?
5:30.
5:30?
But I think that's what they're looking for you guys to have ready for them.
Actually, if you guys could spend a couple of minutes thinking about that in terms of our 1 through 6 items we have in our little outline. And just put down a couple of thoughts on each in terms of direction. That's all it is.
That's what that's all they were looking for was, what are you thinking?
I'm thinking we need the right of way at 60 feet and.
Fine.
Put it right in there.
Put it-
Want to develop some sort of substandard roads on the 60-foot right of way, fine, whatever.
No, I mean, that's the kind of stuff that you should have written down to be able to give to them so that they can see what you're doing.
Yep.
Hey, the other side is a.
I can't think off the top of my head to it in a situation like that.
I've thought about this stuff for weeks now.
But write it down so
They give
it,
variances on all roads, all types of roads.
Who's they, sorry?
Your road buddies.
So generally, not unless there's really extenuating circumstances.
Right.
Usually there's
A hardship case.
Well, yeah, I'll throw an example here, but usually there's a public street standard that is either defined in the ordinance or whatever the town's current public street standards are essentially the same as like a private street. And that way down the road, if that private street ever wanted to become a public street, it already meets the town's standards.
Right.
That way it's super simple for the town to just go through the adoption process.
And that's basically what we have.
That's where we're going,
Yeah,
but
one of the examples was there was an intersection that was privately owned in Raymond, actually. This is a pretty recent example. There's an intersection that was owned that wasn't quite up to town standards, I'll say, I guess. But the roads all leading into that intersection were public roads, publicly owned, maintained by Raymond. And it was really difficult because from a plowing perspective, they couldn't just go through that intersection and plow. They had to go to the end of that roadway.
yeah.
So one, it made sense from like a snow maintenance perspective that they accept that. But two, all of those roads leading into there, they were already had planned paving improvements. And to add just that little intersection to that would be very minor in cost kind of thing. So it was one of those things that they recognized that there was work that needed to be done, but the cost benefit to it would be far better for the town to accept the road and take that on than to have the developer bring it up to a private road standard while that's going on, the other roads leading into it are also paved kind of thing. It was just logistically, it made a
And to
lot
write
more
an
sense.
ordinance that specifically addresses that issue would be difficult. I mean,
Right, yeah.
But we have, we have in our ordinance an ability to accept private ways as town ways and public easements. So we already have that.
What I would refrain from is the public easement portion of it, because I know the town kind of has that framework now for private roads, but placing public easements over them from a liability standpoint, that puts the town in a pretty dangerous position where.
We're not gonna go there. We have no intention of going there.
No, I
That's
know,
a
just
private-
like, but like,
that's
I think moving forward, though, I know there's a lot of them that exist now in town, and I think those would be likely grandfathered in, but I think moving forward, hopefully none of those are replaced. So-
We could actually add all new PE roads accepted by town must be at town standards
Yeah, that makes sense.
and paved.
Well, and so we didn't require pavement on roads that were onto dirt roads. In other words, when Kurt built his project down in the Folly, it didn't make sense to have him pave his project off a dirt road.
Well, you got Anderson Road, it's part paved by dirt, so, no.
Well,
Things become-
again, I'm still. Yeah, it really bothers me, this potential for development on each road, that's all, on each lot. And so I don't know, maybe I've got making smaller easements stuck in my mind, where I really feel they should all be 60, but if we grant a 50-foot easement, right? So you got 22, right? And you need 6 on either side for ditches, right? So that's 12, and 22, 32. You want sidewalks, because you got 55 houses going down here, and you gotta have kids walking.
Where are there sidewalks in Sebago?
Well, there probably never will be with that kind of thinking, Paul.
I think for
But if you don't wanna
consistency's
think
sake,
for
I
the
think we should.
future, then there's no sense doing any of this.
David, I just commented there's no sidewalks.
Right. But there
I'm
will be.
capable of thinking of the future as you are, sir.
My apologies.
No.
But the only, yeah, and, you know, it's gonna be impossible to get that land back if you did need it down the road. And again, we're talking maybe 30, 40, 50 years, who knows how many years you're talking. But eventually, the town, there's no reason to think that the town won't be built out eventually, and it'll be sewered and watered and everything else. But, you know, land's valuable.
Well, it is. Okay,
All right.
well, okay, when's our next planning board meeting, guys? 13, is that what it is? Okay,
Second Tuesday in January.
all right,
We've got another
very
one.
good, and
Don't we have another one?
So we're gonna take,
Tomorrow we need to be tomorrow.
we're gonna take the workshop off the table.
we're gonna take the workshop off the table, that's
Make
right,
a motion to
that's
take the
done.
workshop off the table.
We'll meet at 6.
Seconded,
Make a motion, we
All in favor?
Seriously.
Bingo, bango.
okay,
And now we're gonna close.
all right, let's close the meeting. Motion to
I
close
make
the
a motion to
meeting.
close this damn meeting.
Sounds like a time to go here,
Okay.
okay, all in favor?
On the
Okay.
23rd. What's on the 23rd?